Today I want to do a quick update review video of the 2016 Polaris Sportsman 570. I'm up here in Maine. I've owned this thing for about a year now, and there's a few things that I don't like and that I haven't gotten the kinks worked out of, and there's also a whole lot more that I do like. I've been riding up in these mountains for about 500 miles or so, maybe, I don't remember how many hours, I think about 38 or 42-ish. Everything has worked flawlessly, no issues, haven't had to replace anything. There's a couple gripes. I'll do the gripes first before I tell you how much I like this thing. I'm sure you can hear that. For some reason, I've tried everything possible to grease this. I've taken all this apart. I didn't put a grease fitting in the upper bushing of the steering stem. I don't know why. Haven't been able to keep that out of there. That's my #1 complaint. Other things, the rear shocks are on their lowest setting. I beat the shit out of this thing probably compared to the average user, but I have noticed a little bit of less rebound. They sag just a little bit. If you put a lot more weight on the back, you know, it bottoms out a little bit. But again, I've never adjusted the preload spring setting. It's on the lowest. I think it's on the lowest. Yeah, it definitely is. But overall, this is the best entry-level ATV I think you can get for the money. As far as a four-wheel drive is concerned, it handles amazing. You should see the puddles and everything that I blazed through on the way up here. Basically, it rides like a Cadillac. I could go for the 1000. I like a little bit more power, but it'll pull the front end off the ground. It won't do it at high speed, but it'll loft over a log or whatever you need. It's definitely towed some serious firewood. Trailers work really well. No issues with the belt, no issues. I let a guy take it through the mud probably 2 or 3 days ago. No issues with the belt getting wet, no slippage. I'm trying to think of what else. There's a few things here and there, like, you know, of course the headlights, the high-low. It doesn't let you have all three on at the same time. You can either choose the headlight handlebar pod or the two lights below. That's kind of stupid. You should really have them on all the time. But I understand why Polaris does it. When you have a chainsaw strapped to the front rack or something that sticks up high, it allows you to turn this off so it doesn't reflect off of the item back into your face. So pretty cool, but I don't really carry stuff up there all the time, and I'd rather have the extra light so that when I turn the bars at night, it illuminates the sides of the trails. That's the other thing is the EBS. EBS is still, I'm kind of an aggressive rider as far as for a utility machine. Hopefully the wind isn't too bad. It's pretty windy up here, but I'm a fairly aggressive rider as far as utility machines are concerned. And the electronic braking definitely still gives me issues. Like when I come into a corner hard and I'm off the gas and really on the brakes, you know, pretty good, the rear wheels still lock up a year later. When I first got it, it was really jumpy because of that. I've got some other videos if you check out the channel that talk about that. But you can't get the electronic power steering without the EBS. And I will say one of my favorite things about this machine has been the power steering. Just climbing up, I don't know if you can see, you can't even tell where I came from actually. But when you hit rocks and stumps and everything else on trails like this, it doesn't jerk the handlebars out of your hands. Even my granny can drive this thing. It's very easy. You can steer it with one hand, as you saw in the video of me coming up here. Excuse me. There's bugs galore up here. Trying to think what else you guys would want to know. My favorite feature has definitely been what I call the trunk. I don't know if you can tell right now, but I'm filming with a DSLR camera with a big ass microphone. There's no way that I could carry all this stuff without doing a camera bag if it wasn't for this. And so this has been the single favorite feature of this bike. It's pretty deep. You can put a bunch of shit in there. I usually have a couple beers, some camera gear. Don't have any beers today. I don't know why. That was a mistake. But this has definitely been one of my favorite features. It's technically not the trunk. It does have a 1 gallon. What I do here? Same thing on this side. I keep straps and food and snacks and everything else in there. It just snaps down. Some people don't like this because you can't actually pull on this or you'll rip it off because it's just plastic. So while you can strap stuff to it, to the mounts, otherwise than that, you can't like pull on it like you can a metal utility rack. Personally, I don't care about that because I love the storage. and you can access it while you're on the bike. So you can be sitting here or pull over, and all you have to do is, you know, flip this, get whatever you want out of there. You get snacks, you get everything else. I've talked about that in other videos. Usually you'd have to go into the real trunk to do that, but there's no way in hell you could store nearly as much stuff in this little 1 gallon storage compartment. And I just keep, you know, extras in there, jackets, whatever. I never go in there because the front storage compartment works so well. And the trouble that I've always had is when you put a passenger seat on the back, you always have to move the passenger in order to open the cooler lid or open the storage compartment to get your stuff out. And so I think that's why I like the trunk so much. It just works really good. It's extremely handy, and after having it, I don't think I could have a machine without it, because I really use it every day, every time I ride this thing. I'm trying to think of what else. All-wheel drive system works great, no issues with getting it stuck. If you look at the channel, I've got some winter videos on there. I took this bitch out into the snow and buried the hell out of it and totally tested the 4-wheel drive system. You can see when it slips and when it engages and how well it works. A lot of people say that Polarises will get stuck. I found that to be bullshit. It definitely has no issues with engagement as far as the front tires are concerned. And I love the all-wheel drive, 2-wheel drive selectability. Something you can't get on other machines. Makes it real playful. You can do donuts with it. You can get sideways in the corners. I'm trying to think what else. As you've seen in some of my other videos, I do camera reviews on product reviews on YouTube, and I always have camera gear with me. One of the cool things about this is I can charge my cameras with this thing running, which is awesome. All you have to do is bring a car charger and you're in business. Otherwise than that, maintenance, I've done the first big service where you change all the differential fluids. I'm trying to think if there was anything else. You'll have to watch my other videos to see if there was anything that stood out. There was definitely some stuff that I didn't like when I bought it. It definitely had some squeaks and some quirks, but no mechanical issues that stopped me from using it or missed a day of riding or anything like that. Overall, super solid bike, and I would buy another one in a heartbeat. I'm looking at the Sportsman 1000, obviously, because I like the power. But as far as an entry-level ATV, you can't really beat this for 6 or 7 grand. I think I paid 60, I think just over 65 out the door, tax and everything. I bought it in New Hampshire, and actually I don't think they have sales tax. That's why I saved, maybe I saved a little bit of money that way. Point being, for $6,500, you know, plus or minus a couple $100, this is probably the best all-around ATV that you're going to be able to get. You can play with it, you can haul with it, you can work with it. It's very comfortable. It's probably the most comfortable chassis on the market. Definitely soaks up the bumps really well, and couldn't be happier overall. If you guys have any questions, or if you want to know anything specific, I'll make a special video just for you. Comment down below and let me know what you think.